If I can be honest with you as a hairstylist, I really don't think that we should be worrying about tools like these split end trimmers and things like that. And I'm going to tell you why. The person that is using this is not the client that was going to sit in your chair anyway. At least not majority of the time. They may have been the client that might have sat in your chair at some point, but more than likely it's the client that is going to trim their own hair anyway. They're going to use something that was a little bit more dangerous. They're going to do a bit more damage. Maybe somebody that did not have the funding to sit in your chair that could afford something like this versus affording to get a trim for their entire family. It's the person who is over here telling you, don't trim that piece, that's my long piece. It's usually going to be that client. It's not going to be the one that's going to sit down in your chair and trust you with every single part of the service. And that's okay. That's just the name of the game. This current economy, there are even more people that cannot afford to sit in the salon. Now, am I saying like, oh yeah, everyone go out and get these, or that's going to give you an accurate cut and all that? Absolutely not. I'm not. But I am saying that like a lot of times I feel like we tend to worry about clients that weren't ever going to be your clients, at least not in any realistic scenario, unless it was an emergency where like they did something themselves, caused an issue that they could not reverse, that they needed your help with fixing, something like that. I think when it comes down to it, a tool that makes it easier and more accessible for people to be able to do what they want with their head is one thing. They know you still exist. They know that people know that there are dentists out here and they're still going and letting their homegirl play around and do dental tech type stuff in their mouth. What makes you think that they won't buy a tool that makes it easier like this? What makes you think it? So I'm going to say now, if you're the client who is using stuff like this, that's fine. I don't care. I'm a licensed cosmetologist and cosmetology instructor. If you want to cut your hair at home, you want to trim your own bangs, you want to DIY it, you have every right to do so. But let me warn you, these here, number one, if you're going to use it, detangle your hair. If you have knots, things like that in your hair, and you're trying to take big old sections with this, you will cut a chunk out. Don't say I didn't tell you. I just let you know, okay? If your hair is curly and you're trying to use something like this, it needs to be pressed out or at least blow dried as smooth as you can get it first. And you need to be taking small subsections. I also need you to understand that this is not going to give you an even cut. This is going to take care of ends, whether those ends are split or not. If they come sticking out, it's going to trim them. Is it a cost-effective way for you to help limit and minimize some of your split ends? Yes. Is it the best, most safe option, all of that? No. But let's be honest, there have been a ton of people that have sat down in a stylist chair and said, I want to trim. And with little to no communication, that stylist has cut off way more than they anticipated. And it's stylists like that stylist should be pissed off about, not the stuff like this. Despite the fact that I'm not really an advocate for this, I can't blame people for getting it, especially when it comes down to accessibility, especially when it comes down to the fact that it's their hair, so autonomy, except for the fact when it comes down to issues of trust or trauma associated with hair salons, or even in instances where somebody may be autistic, something like that, and has had a horrible experience in salons. It's a bigger picture than we like to often think it is. I'll just say, if you're a stylist and you're over here knocking against some of the stuff like that, try to consider the whole picture and realize that your clientele is out there, but you can't service everybody anyway. So reach for the people who are ideally suited for you instead of trying to win over somebody that wasn't really going to sit in your chair and just likes to DIY it. Those people exist, and it's okay for them not to sit in your chair. Okay, love you, bye.